Hey everyone, it's a rare thing when I show you such charming cars like this one. And here's why she's remarkable. Her tiny body is equipped with a V6 engine with a volume of 3.2 liters. This car can be described as a wolf in sheep's clothing. While having a weight of less than a ton, it has a 200 plus horsepower engine, and if you came across this car in traffic, you'd never say this car is fast and can kick your BMW's ass. The engine is taken from Opel Vectra C, 211 horsepower and 300 nanometers of torque. The transmission is from the original diesel Corsa, it's called F23, and it's installed in the original mounts. The engine mount is installed with the help of the adapter plates. Basically, if you look at the engine, it seems like installing it here is no big deal, but the owner of the car had a really hard time trying to install it here. He also installed an extra engine mount in the front to prevent the engine from dangling. Here we also have the original subframe. Speaking of the engine modifications, the owner installed a manifold from Omega B. It's a little different here, the inlet is short, supposedly there's some kind of modification to increase power, and he also installed exhaust manifolds 3-in-1, because the original ones are from cast iron and they're so weird. It seems like they're not blowing whatsoever. The filter is installed under the bumper, cold air is taken in through this grill and goes directly to the manifold. Also, among the modifications, individual ignition coils from VAG are installed here, as well as our beloved engine control unit January 5.1. The ECU was taken from another car. The owner had an Opel Vectra A, where he experimented with turbo. So he decided not to fool around with the native wiring, with the native ECU, he just installed the parts he had at his disposal. There were also semi-axles and Getrag F23 transmission. The owner not only thought about increasing the power of the car, but also about improving its braking system. 288mm front brake discs, 263mm rear brake discs. In order to put 288 discs on the front, he installed the hub and the steering knuckle from a Vectra B and switched to a 5-bolt system. And at the rear, the Corsa never had disc brakes, and the hub here is from a Zafira A, also 5-bolt system. There are also forged rims, which match the concept of a lightweight car. One rim weighs 6.5 kilograms. The front wheels have Toyo 888 tires, 205mm, and the rear wheels have Chinese Athena tires. Basically, for pulling away, there is no need to have good clutch on the rear tires. We have it on the front tires, and I like the clearance of these wheels. Looks amazing. They're mounted really close to the wheel arch. Just look at this. Looks amazing. The interior is absolutely unremarkable, just an ordinary interior of a car with a 1-liter engine. My grandmother used to drive one of these. But there's one thing, I'm talking about these bucket seats. They're taken from an Opel Kadett and they have this kind of sophisticated side support. They almost fit into the concept of the interior, even though they're from the 80s. The dashboard here is from an Opel Tiger because the native dashboard is not working properly with the January 5.1 ECU, so in order to fit a tachometer and a temperature gauge, we had to install a dashboard from an Opel Tiger. It almost fits here, except for the fact that in the corners you can see the gaps and here it slightly pops out. It starts smoothly. Basically, judging by the sound, if you stood next to it at a traffic light, you wouldn't even realize that it has such a powerful engine under the hood. The exhaust system has a 60mm pipe and a nice little output, so you wouldn't even know it got a huge engine. Looks like just a 1-liter Corsa. We got to our friend's dyno. And now we will test our Opel and see its performance. According to my calculations, here we have 224 horsepower. Let's see what it actually got. No way. No fucking way. 250. Generally, people who test their cars here say it's not enough, it's gonna have more. Like seriously, it should have 218 HP. I didn't expect anything more than that. It'd be fun to compare it to a stock Corsa. The results are absolutely the same, but one figure is a little higher. Oh yeah, let's go! What do we see on the chart? A smooth torque line, looks amazing, 318 Newton meters for 250 horsepower. And now the guy showed us the chart of a Vectra with the same engine for comparison, but that was a stock Vectra. It had a variable geometry intake manifold and stock exhaust manifolds. So we compared the charts and look at this. This thin line is the stock engine, so we've got more gain of torque due to the variable geometry intake manifold. However, there's no blow of the engine at the top, and our engine is very much better than the stock engine. That's plus 30 horsepower. Could you imagine plus 30 horsepower on a naturally aspired engine due to the intake and exhaust manifolds? I would never believe that if I didn't see it today on the dyno. In order to go from 0 to 100, you should lower the tire pressure. What pressure will be optimal? 1 atmosphere. Well, looking at the results, here's what I'm gonna say. We couldn't make the most out of this power. 5.7 seconds consistently. 5.7 now? Yeah. The second gear, it's skidding a bit. With just 2 of us inside, we got 5.94, but on the video you can see that this guy starts at idle in the first gear. I'm just starting at idle, I'm afraid to hit the gas because look, there are tire tracks in the road. He can't accelerate the car properly because it's slipping. That's why it starts gently, because there's the point where the car slips in the second gear. 5.69. That's because I was sitting in the car. Actually, your impact is much less than you think, as the tires are warming up and I started to let off the gas a bit. And when I put it in the second gear, I'm letting it off a little bit at the beginning so that the second gear is doing slightly better, and then I just hit the gas properly. Yeah, look, from 0 to 100 we have 5.8, 5.8, 5.7, and from 100 to 150 we have 5.22. Well, I also want to say that it's complicated because the speedometer and the tachometer don't work properly. I mean, it's just a matter of feeling and experience, and if we try to launch here, it would be a completely different story. That would be exciting. Long story short, it should make 5.5 seconds. Well, 5.5 is possible when the asphalt warms up to 20 degrees Celsius, I guess. So, what can I say about this car? I want to express a huge respect to the owner who made such an amazing car. He claims that he's the one and the only in Eastern Europe who installed a V6 engine inside this body. I guess we're gonna believe him. Anyway, what other interesting configurations of this car do you know? You can write about it in the comments. Instead of a V6, it was possible to install a 4-cylinder turbo engine CAAB. In stock it has 200 HP, it can be boosted up to 250, but will not be as reliable as a naturally aspired V6. What concerns fuel consumption, the owner has no idea about that. He says it spends around $15 on gas, and it's enough for one evening of driving. Dyno characteristics just amazed me. I can't believe that it's possible to get plus 39 horsepower from a naturally aspired engine with minimal modifications. It's just unreal. Working with M50s, M52s, M54s, with the same upgrades people achieve plus 510 HP maximum, and I didn't believe that here he managed to get such a result. So this one's a killer of M50 engine. The car was bought for $1,900 with a 1-liter engine. The engine was sold for $350, and the owner bought a 3.2 V6 for $500. All other parts needed were at the owner's garage. So overall, this car cost him $2,700. Those who drive ordinary civilian cars all the time will be shocked by the Corsa's dynamics, but me personally, I'm not impressed by that. I got used to hit the gas pedal and to be squeezed into the seat until the end. The steering is pretty mediocre. I tested it on the curved road once. The car has a lot of weight in the front and, the handling could be better. But all in all, the car is decent and it's a pleasure to drive it. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Subscribe to the channel, put your likes, write your thoughts about this project, and write about the cars you'd like to see on this channel. See you!